GPMP Dr. Subramanian Swamy on the broadcast. Let's go across to him. Dr. Subramanian Swamy, good afternoon to you, sir. Your first reaction to this very interesting development. And in fact, Sonia Gandhi's close aide has exposed Robert Vadra's lie, one would say, or the contradictions that the ED is further investigating. He denied knowing CC Thampi. He said, I met him on board a flight, and CC Thampi goes on to disclose that he was introduced through Sonia Gandhi's aide, Madhavan.
Well, you see, I think the best way is not... I'm very glad you have brought this out, and this is a major scoop. But the best way now to bring it to a conclusion is to take ED to take Vadra into custody and subject him to custodial interrogation. And that's the only way he will stop bluffing, because this whole family is terribly indebted to this Kalla person, and Thampi, see, and take for example when Sonia Gandhi was undergoing the cancer treatment in New York, that entire row of flats was provided by Thampi, and Thampi has got connections with a large number of people in Congress. It's not just this family, he's a huge network. So I won't name the other people, but the fact is that in this matter, focusing on this matter, these people have been meeting in Dubai. How many times Vadra has gone to Dubai? He has also there some property. And all this, these things, you know, we don't need very much to get evidence on media, because now we have to go to a trial. And a trial, you have to have solid information. And that solid information can only be done if Vadra is arrested and subject to custodial interrogation.
Absolutely.
Then all this will come out, and he will have to. He won't be able to maintain all these lies. You see.
Absolutely. There clearly is more than meets the eye, because the ED now definitely would want to further investigate Mr. Robert Vadra, given the allegations against Mr. Vadra and CC Thampi of their links and the properties that you were talking about in London, which were brought by money received through kickbacks in a petroleum scam. So this definitely goes deeper, and the ED has enough reasons now, apart from the documents and the money trail, to further investigate the entire issue.
Yeah, well, you see, in the skylight thing where Vadra has been from beginning involved in, and I had at the earlier occasion when I was dealing with the issue of National Herald, and then it expanded into what Mr. Vadra was doing in the matter, I found that he has extensive connections with not only him, but almost all underworld characters. So the Thampi appears to be a man who's been taken aback, and he's now singing like a bird. So therefore, I think Vadra's being taken in, he will be very soon charge-sheeted without difficulty and sent to jail, because this is an open-shut case.
Dr. Swamy, I request you to stay with us, sir. We spoke to Sonia Gandhi's close aide, Mr. Madhavan, and let's in fact play that out for you as well, for our viewers also, and know what he has said in that conversation.
Hello.
Hello, sir, I'm Samya from Times Now. Sir, I just wanted to know about this news piece that has come out on Times of India regarding Robert Vadra being introduced to Mr. Thampi, and they are mentioning your name in all of this, sir. Did you know somebody by the name of Thampi, sir?
I know him not now, of course. Nowadays, I have no connection. He's from my same district from where I'm coming from. But that is a different thought. But I have not... See, somebody has come. I don't remember an event like that. If somebody wanted to meet somebody, that I must have done it. It is long ago. It is years before. I don't recollect even.
Okay. But
I don't have a association with this Thampi nowadays.
Okay, but in the interrogation when he was arrested, he specifically mentioned that he was just introduced by you.
All right, let's go back to Dr. Subramanian Swamy. Dr. Subramanian Swamy, that was Mr. Madhavan, close aide of Sonia Gandhi, who's not backing Robert Vadra's story that he may have met CC Thampi on board a flight. But clearly, you know, not accepting but not denying also that he may have introduced. Now, the second important question, it's not just about this association, Dr. Swamy, it's also about the second important question that was asked to Mr. Thampi, whether Vadra has knowledge about 12 Branston Square. Vadra had said in 2019, I never stayed there. CC Thampi says Vadra had stayed at 12 Branston Square.
Well, Mr. Madhavan is a loyal family servant for a long, long time, and he's bound to fudge. And I think he would be. He's also a person who has to be taken in for interrogation, and he'll certainly come out then. And what he has said on record to you is a massive evasion. He is not he's not able to flatly say no, and at the same time he's banking on the fact that his memory is. He's got an elephantine memory, according to everybody who in Congress party who has interactions with him. So for him to do this, he's just trying to save the family. That's all. But I think Enforcement Directorate should also take him into custody and interrogate him.
Now, legally speaking, Dr. Swamy, if you can help us understand, and our viewers as well, as to how is the ED now supposed to move forward in this case, given that they have this, this contradiction in statements by Robert Vadra and CC Thampi, who's an alleged middleman, and he's been investigated for a money laundering case.
Well, the question is that money laundering case only takes place when the CBI has also registered an FIR. Only then a money laundering case under the PMLA can be initiated. So that means there is already a CBI case ongoing. So that CBI also can now get into the act and in furtherance of its FIR, start interrogating these people. I don't see now any reason for not doing, because they're all contradicting each other, or they're being evasive, or they're being vague. I would urge also the Enforcement Director to find out how Sonia Gandhi met her expenses for such a long time in the New York hospital, and lived with the whole family, including those from Italy, in a series of apartments on the 5th Avenue, which is the most expensive part of New York. This is obviously somebody who has ability to do that, and that is Thampi. And Thampi has been involved in anything. Even in the case of Mr. Shashi Tharoor, he has very close connections with him and has been doing a lot of things for him, which I think should be another investigation later on. But I personally believe that after what your exposure does is, it should rest set at rest in the minds that none of this is being done as a vendetta. It's in fact there is sufficient stuff, and that they are all being evasive, and therefore they have to be sent to jail for investigation.
Dr. Swamy, sir, my colleague Pranesh also wants to come in. He wants to ask you a question. Go ahead, Pranesh.
Dr. Swamy, good afternoon. You are someone who's followed the developments in this case very, very closely. And on the back of that, sir, I want to ask you a straightforward question. Many people now believe that the alleged close aide of Robert Vadra, CC Thampi, is in the ED net. He's been arrested. He will be produced this afternoon in a court. Is Vadra next?
Is Vadra
the next person who is likely?
Connection has gone off. Yes. Vadra, there's no escape for him. For so long we have been pussyfooting about it, because no member of the Sonia Gandhi family has been arrested. Of course, technically they were arrested in the National Herald case, but they immediately got bail because I do not oppose bail for them. But the fact is that Mr. Vadra is the key-pin, because he is the one who is likely to crack much faster, because he is totally an indigenous product, whereas these people have a lot of foreign roots on which they can cover up a lot of their transactions. So I would say that I would expect the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate to take Vadra into custody and investigate him.
Dr. Swamy, thank you very much for giving us your time. Thank you very much for speaking to us. For the moment, thank you. But all our reporters